you doing?
Hey, so good to see you. Thank you so much for joining the project.
Oh, I'm delighted. I'm glad I could help in some way.
Yeah, well, we're happy to have your story and you're a change maker. So this is precisely what we're trying to
Okay,
share
cool.
with the world. And just to explain how the exhibition will work, so all the stories will be there will be a multimedia exhibition that will live in a digital magazine, and then it will be displayed within the castle. So your story will be part of it. Then you will join all the women that will be there in person. But then
Oh,
hopefully I wanted to be a multi-year project that will then travel here and will
okay.
continue adding stories.
Mm.
So pretty much we want to know who Kate is, what do you do, where you from, like whatever you feel is the most inspiring part of
Okay.
the journey.
And how long is
Uh,
it
It's 50, so
for?
everything is 15 minutes, and then the second part is we'd like to hear what your notion of success is, because we're trying to redefine some of those terms like power and success and what they mean in a modern world that it's supposed to be
Okay,
inclusive and healthy and
sure.
sustainable.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
So tell us, who is Kate?
Okay. So first of all, thank you for inviting me. I love to talk about menopause as a potent tool for transformation and leadership. And this is quite a different view to that which you'll find in in the mainstream and in newspapers, which is one of fear and panic. Um, but my experience has been through working with myself, with the thousands of women that I've worked with in one-to-one and groups and online and through my writing, is that when we can slow down and when we can give ourselves space to be heard by our peers and to really listen to our inner voices, it's an absolute liberation and real magic comes, like real magic. It's really magic. And it all happens naturally. It's all built into us. There's nothing external that needs to happen. And I've spent a lot of money on a lot of personal growth over the years in therapy and stuff. And I, my experience has been that menopause has been the greatest change for good in my life.
Hmm. Thank you for sharing that. I think it's, to some extent, it's so liberating that we see the movement of the perimenopause and menopause and that awareness wave. Can you speak a little bit more what happens? Like what have you noticed?
Yeah, sure.
Obviously, it's such a big topic we can't cover it, but just
No, but I have a great structure that can summarize that really
Mhm.
succinctly. And for you who are younger, but also for people who are, but you'll recognize this in the significant shifts that you've experienced in your life.
Mhm.
And the people who are in perimenopause will also, and menopause and postmenopause will also recognize these different um, these different phases of change. So in a way, life is rehearsing us for menopause and change all the time. And this happens through um, we come into a phase which you could call separation, because the desire, the soul desire, our soul's desire to separate from the world. There's a sense of wanting to move away. Um, and that sounds kind of straightforward and easy, except of course we have massive obligations, we have caring duties, we have businesses to run, we have a team, maybe we have children, maybe we have projects, we have creative projects, we have businesses, we have a whole ton of stuff going on, and we've been educated to keep on doing it and to subsume our own needs for the needs of the community. And that is where the problem is. So this separation phase, the desire is to separate, to reflect, to come into our more yin type of way of being, quieter, more reflective, centering ourselves, sorting out the wheat from the chaff. You know, all those fairy stories about the women who had to do these magical tasks of sorting, finding the poppy seed in the dirt. That is essentially what the process of menopause is, like
Easy
sorting out.
breezy, just find the poppy seed.
Yeah, which gives you a big hint as to the difficulty of the task. So we're in this phase, and that usually is accompanied by a lot of conflict, inner conflict, because we've been socialized to do everything with a smile and do all the things and to prioritize other people first and all that stuff and keep going and be productive and all these things. So we feel that we're failing, that everything is going wrong. People say that I feel I'm going mad, that I'm letting everybody down, that I can't do this anymore, that I'm going to implode and explode, and my health is going down the tubes, and all these things, and I have to go on. So that phase is characterized by this almighty conflict, which is all normal with change. We don't like it. And that's followed by a period of surrender, really, in the biggest sense, where the overarching theme is that we come into relationship with ourselves. We come in relationship with our soul. We come into relationship carrying compassion and kindness towards ourselves. And that might be, it's this is an archetypal series of phases. So in real life, we'll be flickering in between the two. In the real life, on a Wednesday morning, we'll be lying in bed thinking, wow, I really worked hard in my relationship and I haven't been seen for that. I've done a really good job. And then by breakfast time, you're having a fight with your partner and throwing, the kids are throwing stuff around, and you're checking your emails while, doing 50,000 things, and you'll feel like you're failing again in separation. So you'll be going in and out of these things. But it's really helpful to notice that when we're in the conflict stage, compassion is required to bring us more in towards that surrender, more towards compassion, more towards a deep relationship with ourselves. So again, I mean, I'm as you're a storyteller, what does that mean in stories? Well, it means coming to meet, in an archetypal story, we would meet the prince, or we would meet the wise old crone, or some external figure that represents the wisdom. The prince might be representing the boundaries, the fierce fighting, or the crone might be representing the deep inner wisdom, our intuition and our knowing. And the in this surrender phase, it's a really potent time for dreams, for storytelling, for yoga nidra, which is my particular favorite, which is like a meditative storytelling. For this kind of imaginal realm can really come to serve us well. And the next phase is, sorry, I forgot the most important part, which is rest. Alongside the compassion is rest. We've let go of what's not served. We've sorted the poppy seeds from the dirt in the separation phase, and now we must rest. Now we must be sleeping beauty. Now we must take the rest that we need. And that rest means different things for different people. So because we live in such a fast-paced way, it can be very anxiety provoking to just lie down and do nothing. So it might be to do colouring, or to do a creative pursuit, or to be walking in nature, or chatting with your friends, whatever brings a restful frame of mind for you in the world. And to nourish ourselves and to fill ourselves up again, because what we consistently underestimate is the tons of invisible work and the invisible labor that we've done in our lives. Tons and tons of it that nobody sees. And we've internalized this work as being invisible, as being nothing ourselves. So I just can't bring words to the amount of work that we do that we don't see. And this operates, in
Oh,
families of both.
Marx, I'll bring Marx here, which is the most probably awkward person to bring into this conversation, but we dehumanize ourselves with this.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yes, I would agree. I would agree.
yeah.
And it
Because it
operates
is labor that we
in
don't
business and
acknowledge.
leadership as well. Yeah, that we're looking after the team, that we're remembering somebody's needs, that we're doing all this stuff, we're planning, we're mentally giving a lot of cognitive time to what needs to happen and taking over roles that nobody ever sees, that is not
Mhm.
ours to do necessarily.
But Kate, so this is because I relate to it because I've done some work as well, and I relate to what you're saying. But a lot of women out there, when they're faced with it and when they're overwhelmed, and I remember when I first started, and people would tell me, just calm down. And I wanted to go across the table and strangle them. Like if I could just calm down, I would have done it. Because you get on the gerbil wheel and it's
Yeah,
very hard to get off it and you keep
yeah.
depleting yourself and you're
Mm-hmm.
going deeper and deeper. And
Mm-hmm.
one of the reasons why we want to redefine success is because success, as my previous interview, like she said, success is being happy. If success is different for everyone, what is success for you? How do we make all these components click? How do we step out? Do we need to always go through a crisis? That's my, because I know the hero's journey. I love archetypes, but can we get to a point where we don't have to go through that crisis? We can be aware.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And that comes from going within. I
Mhm.
think whatever your version of going within is, do that. Because you're right, it's really hard to get off the gerbil wheel. It's really hard.
Mhm. It's
And
an addiction. I have to say, busyness is an addiction, right?
it is. But life is always guiding us inwards.
Hmm.
And what does success look like? Success probably looks like being more of your nerdy self. Like, like the slightly weird kid.
Yeah, I love
The
that.
slightly weird kid that you had to really suppress before adolescence in order to, to kind of survive through our teenage years. It's allowing a little bit more of that into the world with a bit more ease. And
Hmm.
that's, frankly, that is a lifetime project.
Hmm.
And that's the way I would frame it. You could also frame it as self-acceptance and compassion. All the practices, the mindful practices that are in the world are so useful towards this. But it's really that if you think about the people that you really love, they're usually the people who are unashamedly themselves. And it's kind of hard to do that in a world that is full of crisis and full of difficulty and really full of conformity.
Hmm. Hmm.
um, but those are the things that inspire other people. And the more that we can express what we're seeing in our own way, however that is, whether you're just chatting to a friend over a coffee or if you're writing or creating, that then you have an avenue of expression. But just saying what you see from your own point of view, and that includes saying that we don't know.
Hmm. Hmm.
Somebody gave me a great quote yesterday about we're on our way, but we don't know where.
Hmm. Oh, that's how I feel all the time.
Yeah, and but that's
Yeah.
also within the business world and the leadership world, we're encouraged to have goals and to know stuff and to be there and have a mission statement and how absolutely absurdly arrogant of us as these little humans to think that we know, because the universe always has something much more challenging and much more beautiful and poetic in store for us. And this is what menopause is priming us for. This is why it's stripping away all our social conditioning so that we can bring more of our unique personal view. And that feeds into our personal relationships and directly into our teams and into the outside world as well. Whatever level you're working at, this capacity to express yourself and bring your unique way of being in the world has huge value because it encourages other people to do the same. And
Hmm.
if for anybody listening to this who is on the gerbil wheel and is saying, but you don't understand, Kate, I cannot get off. My question for you is what are you modeling for your team? What are you modeling for your kids or your nieces? What are you modeling for the people around you for the next generation? Are
Hmm.
you modeling burnout?
Hmm.
And are you okay with that? Are you teaching people how to burn out?
And we're
How to
normalizing it. I love
subsume
that you said that.
themselves?
Yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah,
say
yeah,
that
and I
again?
said we are normalizing it by
Yeah,
doing it. I love that you emphasize that because the same way it's been normalized for us to be busy and to just bow down and keep going, and we have to almost denormalize it in a way.
yeah,
We
absolutely.
have to
Say
set
no.
a new rule.
Yeah.
Kate, if there's one thing, what I want to leave with one thing that people can do right now, women can do when you went on your journey. Obviously, it was related probably to your own personal journey. Was there an aha moment? Was there a moment when when you realized if I don't change it or if I don't do that, it will be not good?
Yes, and for me personally, it was to do with I was a body worker for a long time, and my hands were swelling up, and I used a practice which I still use now and is really helpful, and that's having a chat with my 80-year-old self, so my crone self, um, to ask what do I do, and my crone self had really clear in the way that they often do. Old ladies don't hold back, they're like, time is short, I've got to deliver this. And she said, well, how long are you going to wait to be an artist? Are you going to wait until your hands don't work, until you break? Because I thought,
Mhm.
well, I'll wait until I retire and then I can paint.
Mhm.
And no, you do it now. And it was so loud and it was so clear that it completely changed my outlook, that um, I started to express myself in a different way, in many different ways.
Mhm.
And it initiated a huge creative flood. But because of that, I guess you'd call it perspective, you know.
Mhm.
Mm.
Thank you so much. What a That was beautiful actually. I although for me it wasn't menopause, it was the same thing. I was like, you can't wait. You don't know if there's tomorrow. Who Nobody
Exactly. Yeah,
guarantees. Like aging is a privilege nowadays, you know?
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Kate. I so look forward to seeing you again.
Yeah.
And
Good luck. I hope it
thank you.
goes well.
Yes, thank you, thank you.
Okay, Mira. Bye.
Bye bye.